As most of you will already know, in and around Glasgow, when a building site was needing protected, it wasn't guarded by just your run-of-the-mill security firms. You see, the big players in Glasgow had went from running ice cream vans to running the security game. The only problem is, just like there's only a certain number of ice cream runs, which sadly claimed the life of the Doyle family and others during the ice cream wars in the 80s, well, you see, it's very similar. There was only a certain number of security contracts, and the self-styled security consultants competing for these contracts read like a who's who of underworld Glasgow gangsters from every corner of the city. One of the main security feuds involved two postal pals who had a fallout. Old school hard case, Bobby the Devil Dempster, once a gangland rival of Arthur Thompson. The younger Dempster was a serious player, and many considered him the top man in Glasgow after Thompson had passed away, and one-time director in his notorious company, Rock Hill Security, Scooby Rodden. They had fallout because Dempster didn't like the way Rodden was treating business rivals, and his antics were drawing too much attention to his business in a negative way. It's alleged they parted company amicably, but Rodden said it was because they didn't see eye to eye. Louis Rodden was shot in Amsterdam a short time after him and Bobby Dempster had fallen out. He was at an away game following Celtic at the time when he was shot at a strip club. Bobby has always denied any involvement in having Rodden shot, of course. He says publicly that it could have been anyone, as Scooby had upset a lot of people. More chance of him being shot by a local he'd upset trying to impress his pals. The feud dwindled out with Rodden setting up his own security business and was trying to muscle in on the action for himself. Now on to Castlemilk security boss George Walker, who ran Manpower Security with his brother Tosh. He'd set up the business after working for a while with Paul Ferris and various others, including Dempster, Rodden and the McGovern's M&M Security, which was nicknamed Murder and Mayhem. After seeing them muscle in on contracts, he fancied it for himself, but rivals weren't happy. He was involved in a local feud, where he tried to run over the relative of a well-known drug dealer. He then shot a man with a crossbow during a street fight. Walker was then shot with a sawn-off shotgun, but survived the attack. A petrol bomb was left on another doorstep with a note attached saying, "Next time it will be lit." August 2006, just a year after George Walker Sr. was blasted in the street with a shotgun, he had been warned no less than 8 times by police that his life was in danger due to his involvement in his security firm and a local feud. Him and his son George Jr., along with his partner, were at home sitting watching TV when Sr. says in a police statement he overheard someone say while looking in his window, "I've got you now, you bastard." Then the hitman fired a hail of bullets hitting both George Sr. and Jr. George Jr. was hit fatally in the head and died a short time later. He was only 20, a young inspiring actor who was in Sweet 16 alongside Martin Compson. The bullet holes can be seen in the next image in Walker's front window. After a lengthy police investigation, 4 men were charged with Junior's murder and the attempted murder of George Sr. Alan Burns, Thomas Camplin, John Smith and Marcello Pacetti. Pacetti would tell all at the trial at the High Court in Glasgow, as he was star witness for the Crown against the rest of the gang. Smith had organised the hit, Camplin and Pacetti were the shooters, and Burns was the getaway driver. The motive behind the contract killing and why was never revealed in court. Smith and Camplin were sentenced to 25 years each, and Burns was sentenced to 10 years. Pacetti was sentenced a few days later for security reasons, and was also handed a life sentence. His testimony done him no favours. Let's move on to another lesser known part of the security wars. This time, it's 2 Easterhouse feuding families, who both ran security companies. The Anellis and the Dixons. The Dixons ran JD Security, and the Anellis ran R4 Security. Both families have been trying to kill each other for years, with numerous incidents. Jason Dixon was shot at in a drive-by shooting attempt on his life, and in another attack, one of the Anelli's associates slashed one of the Dixons across the face. Loads of building sites set on fire, and even fireworks being set off at the house when another Dixon family member had passed away. This one maybe isn't as well known as the others, but it doesn't make it any less dangerous or violent. I'm sure there is plenty out there who remember these incidents in Easterhouse. The security industry opened up another avenue of big money through intimidation. It was perfect for gangsters. The likes of Specky Boyd and his infamous FCB security would go around Paisley with the FCB jackets on while brazenly controlling the drugs and local building sites. It was ice cream vans of the late 90s and 2000s, and loads of lives and families turned upside down. I remember they'd get the local guy that could handle himself a bit to look after the sites. They'd turn up and put their company's posters on the Heritage fencing, then someone else would come along from a rival firm and rip them down and put theirs up. And that would kick it all off. I remember John Morrison and Paul Ferris had both their company's signs up on the same site at the same time, as the two old rivals from Proven Mill and Black Hill went head to head over a contract. You name them, they were involved. Thompson, Dempster, Morrison, Ferris, McGraw, McGovern, Rodden, Boyd, too many to name in fact. I'm sure there's some I have missed. Let me know.